So I've always used a Windows-based PC for all my video editing in 1080p video resolution. And now I plan on shooting and editing in 4K. And I also plan on talking about hardware components like graphic cards and computers and so on. So not only did I need a faster computer, I also needed something that was flexible. And I've made my new computer right here. It's all custom built, and I've handpicked each and every part in this. So let me talk about that real quick. Okay, so I'll start by explaining how I arrived at my computer case or the computer cabinet. My constraints were very simple. I wanted an ATX form factor, good ventilation system, good cable management system. It shouldn't be too big, but not too small that I can't swap for bigger graphic cards later. And it should have accessible input-output ports like, your Type-C USB, regular USB, power and reset button, those kind of things. And of course, it needed to look good. I do have a white desk, and I thought it'll be good to get something in white. And that's when I decided on the Edge 510 Elite by NZXT. I'll leave a link in the description below if in case you wanted to buy. But getting the case is just one part of the deal. You need to think about the motherboard, the processor, and the RAM combination that you want. And that's when things get a little bit more interesting. So for the processor, very simple constraints again. It has to be something that's recent, like the 10th gen processor. Not too expensive. It should just help me sail through 4K editing at 60 FPS, and rendering times, not that big of a deal for me because I got time to render. And that's when I decided on the Core i7-10700K from Intel. Now this is some Avengers edition if you see, but trust me, that doesn't change anything. I mean, it doesn't perform better or work faster. It's just silly branding. I got it. And once you've decided on which processor you want, then you can think about which motherboard you want, right? So the Core i7 10th gen processors require an LGA 1200 socket, which is when I decided to go for the Z490E motherboard. And there's a lot that one has to think about when buying a motherboard. But for me, it just had to support 10th gen processors. It should have Wi-Fi 6 because, it's just faster. And I do think it's going to become mainstream. My phone already has it, so why not my PC? It should have option for 2 M.2 SSD drives because I already have those. And it should be able to address, the RGB RAM, RGB fans, and the motherboard itself should have RGB lighting, which I can control. All of those were met by the Z490E. It's a gaming motherboard. And it needed to look good, it was going inside my case. It would be visible to some extent, so I wanted that to look good as well. Now the motherboard supports DDR4 RAM, and that's when I decided to get the Corsair Vengeance Pro 32GB RAM. This is, again, RGB, so it's got lighting on the top, which I can control, and it's white in color, obviously, because, white desk, white cabinet, white RAM, just sort of looks good. And while the motherboard can support up to 128 gigs of RAM, I just have 32 gigs of RAM here. Now, I don't know if this is going to be enough for my workflow. The assumption is yes. If not, I can add another 32 gigs and then see, but I didn't want to be greedy at first. For the graphics card, I'm just going to use the Nvidia GeForce 2060, but I do plan on getting the 3070 gigabyte Vision model, which I think would look so good with the white theme altogether. It looks really good, and I think it would be a perfect fit to go inside this, but one step at a time. And I forgot to mention that I'm going to be liquid cooling the processor using the NZXT X53. Very frankly speaking, I don't think it's required. I think regular air cooling would have been fine, but I was so intrigued by that good-looking screen sitting on the processor. I just thought I gotta have those, and it would just complement the entire design that I'm going for, the entire look that I'm going for in my computer case. I just couldn't not do it. So yeah, the NZXT X53. And I haven't talked about storage yet, but that's because I'm not going to buy any new ones. I'm just going to use what I already have and throw it on the new build. So I've got 2 M.2 SSD drives and 1 regular SSD which has the Windows OS loaded on it. I'm just going to slap on those on the new build. And I'm going to power this entire config using the Corsair RM750 power supply unit. That's what powers the entire system, right? Now, I'm going to leave links to all of these parts in the description below, so if you want to purchase, you can use these links and get them for yourself. Now let's power this on. And that is the end result of all of these parts put together. Now I'm really excited to use this and see if it improves my workflow. Does it make it faster and more efficient, or does it need something else? Now I do plan on getting white colored keyboard and mouse to go, and finish that whole look. I saw this video on Dave's channel very recently where he talked about a few options in white. So I'm going to try and get my hands on one of those. But hey, if you guys have any suggestions for me, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Now that's it from me on my new PC build. I'll keep you updated on my Instagram, so don't forget to follow me there. And if you've liked this video, leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon. I'll see you guys in the next one.